All right, we're back, and we have our senior wrestling correspondent, Joey Softball, with us, and we have, of course, the loose cannon, Dave McBee. We watched some wrestling last night in Harrison, and I'm going to hand it over to Joey and Dave to tell you everything that we witnessed last night.
Well, I got to say, of course, this is the loose cannon, David McBee, and last night, Sports Talk is McKimmie. We went over and attended the Legends of Wrestling over in Harrison, Arkansas. It was through Mid-States Wrestling, and of course, over the years, we've attended several mid-state events over in Harrison, and last night was just another epic event put on by the Space Cowboy, Jason Jones. But last night was a little different because a lot of legends were there. We're talking about Trevor Murdoch was there. We had also, beautiful Bobby Eaton. And then, of course, we also had Hall of Famer, WWE Hall of Famer, Cowboy Bob Orton there. And it was a great event, a good family event, Joey.
It was, Dave. Speaking of family event, it was just three of us and also my son Caleb. We brought him out, who was just pumped after the event. Last night, I don't think he went to bed till about 2 in the morning. He was so excited. Got a couple masks after the match was over. He put him on. He's out there wrestling a pole out in the parking lot. It was just hilarious. And, of course, he had to get his dad in a headlock and vice versa. I had to turn it and put him in one as well. But, a great time. My son enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. And, of course, we got to bring out Mike Hemme. And I believe this was his first experience ever to be at a live wrestling event. So,
no, man, I went to the Mid-South Coliseum.
Oh, Mid-South? You went to Mid-South?
Yeah, I saw the King.
You seen the King. Speaking of the King, I believe me and David actually, speaking of Legend of Wrestling, we seen Jerry the King Lawler, I think, a few years back here in Harrison.
Yeah, that was probably 30 years ago. 35 years ago, probably.
He still looks good.
Yeah, the King, you're right. I mean, the King was at a previous Legends of Wrestling event, and that's what's so cool about Mid-States Wrestling. Every summer, they bring in legends from the past, and also they have a lot of guys that are going to be legends in the future. I'm talking about guys like Mr. Saturday Night Michael Berry. Also, you got Gary Graham was out there. I mean, in a terrific main event. I mean, there were some great matches that were put on last night. Great family-friendly entertainment. I mean, just a great show to attend. It was, I think it was $20, and we were sitting 3 rows from the ring. It felt like we were in the ring with them. When beautiful Bobby Eaton last night, when he laid out the big smooth, I felt like I was in there with beautiful Bobby.
And one of the things that sticks out to me, Dave, about every time we've gone to these Legends of Wrestling in Harrison is, they have a pre-thing where you can go in and you can do the meet and greet. But during intermission, all the wrestlers come out. They have tables set up. They sell merchandise. They do autographs. You can get your photos with them. You can sit and visit with them a little bit. I've never seen anything like that. And back going to the WCW matches and going back NWA when I see them, there was nothing ever like that. The closest you're ever going to get is if you can luckily run up to the fence and maybe get a high five or a handshake as they're entering into the ring. Or catch them backstage after the show. Maybe you're hanging out in the parking lot. You might see somebody leaving out, and you might get to talk to somebody for a brief second, or a little friendly way. But there, you get to actually get to ask questions and talk to these guys, and they talk to you just like you and I sitting here together.
Well, yeah, like when we were during intermission, I was getting to talk to beautiful Bobby Eaton. I mean, this is a guy I used to watch on TV on Monday Nitro. I watched him when he was part of the Blue Bloods and also when he was part of the Midnight Express with James E. Cornette. But getting to just sit there and just visit with him for a few minutes, just a great experience. And I got to tell you, the Space Cowboy, Jason Jones, he's the one who's actually in charge of Mid-States Wrestling, does such a fantastic job. And he's been doing this for years. I know when he came out last night, he said, I don't know, is it 14, 18 years? I know he said it's been a while, but the shows that they bring to the area, and it's all handled with such class, and it was so much fun for Sports Talk as McKimmie to be a part of it. We did want to interview beautiful Bobby Eaton. We had tried to work out something with his manager. Unfortunately, we just couldn't connect last night. But, hopefully down the road we can get down with the Space Cowboy and maybe set up something in the future where Sports Talk as McKimmie can maybe get to go backstage and hang out with some of the wrestlers, Joey.
Yeah, speaking of Jason Jones, he said when he came out, you could tell he's speaking from his heart, and he really appreciated the audience allowing him to live his dream. He said, he grew up like you and I did, seeing a lot of these legends. So he was there living his dream. He says, I believe it's been 18 years. He thanked the crowd. He wants to continue doing it. They'd like to do some more this year. I think he's mentioned maybe possible 4 more events. Is that right? About 4 more events this year?
That's what he said, I think.
Yeah,
4
they've
more
been
events
doing
this
about
year.
8 events a year. I think they're looking about doing 4. They're going back down to the Harrison Fairgrounds, which we've attended an MSW event at the Harrison Fairgrounds. It's air conditioned in there. Great place for an event. And I think next time, too, he was talking about doing an 80s theme for the next event. So I don't know. I might have a Ric Flair outfit. I might have to break out for the next show.
Yeah, I believe he encouraged everybody for this 80s event. Now, he didn't tell us a whole lot about it, so we're hoping to be seeing something maybe on his Facebook about this in the future. But I know he did say, he encouraged everybody to dress up for that event. So that would be fun.
Yeah, and you can actually check them out if you go on Facebook. It's Mid-States Wrestling. Go on there, like their page, follow them. He responds too. If you've got any questions about the shows, you can message the Space Cowboys station, Jason Jones, through their Facebook page. But fantastic event. And I got to tell you, not only were there some legends from the past, also, there were some guys last night that could flat out go. One of them, the KC Wolves last night. I'll tell you what, they had the crowd howling. And those are some guys that have a bright future in the sport of professional wrestling.
Yeah, watching those guys kind of reminded me of the old days of the Rock and Roll Express, which we also got to see them at a Legends of Wrestling in Harrison. I believe that was last year that they were here, the Rock and Roll Express. But always just impressive who they are able to get and get them here to Harrison, Arkansas, to where we can go and watch them. Awesome experience.
And what's so funny is during the matches, some people in the crowd, they were heckling a lot of the wrestlers, back and forth because the villains are giving it to the crowd, back and forth like the heels are supposed to do. But what was awesome is as soon as the event's done, the fans are just, the villains are out there, the heels are out there signing autographs, the good guys are signing autographs. It was a good time, had by all for a reasonable price. I mean, if you go to a movie, you're going to spend that, to go to a movie just on a ticket and popcorn. I mean, for this, you can sit right next to the ring and get to experience a WWE Hall of Famer with Cowboy Bob Orton. And then you got a WWE Tag Team Champion in Trevor Murdoch. And then a 3-time WCW Tag Team Champion in beautiful Bobby Eaton. I got to tell you, it was an incredible event. And so glad that we got a chance to experience it last night.
Yeah, I believe it opened up at 7 o'clock, and I believe we left out. It was after 10, wasn't it, when the show was over? So it's a great time. And speaking of the villains, the guy just mentioned this. I kept hearing the crowd yell, "Gold Exchange, Gold Exchange." What was that about?
I think that was a message for the one and only Stephen E. Stephen E., he is a manager, manages a lot of different guys on there. And I got to tell you, Stephen E., when I see him, I think back to some of the great managers like James E. Cornette. I mean, he really knows how to get a crowd fired up. But just a great event to be a part of. And speaking about great events, we got an MMA event coming up that we're going to talk about real quick in our next segment. UFC 200 is coming up with some shocking news. Who's going to be in UFC 200? We'll be right back here on Sports Talk is McKimmie.